I know, I'm born and raised in Iowa, and we absolutely love it here. But let's be honest, there are reasons why you should not live here. And I'm about to tell you the top 7 reasons why you should not move here. Oh, and the last one was a deal breaker for one person recently, so make sure to stay to the end. So let's get started. Number 1. As humans, we are born with certain traits or characteristics that unless we alter our body, we cannot change. Some of those examples are your skin color, hair color, sex, eye color, your height, your shoe size, and on and on. Well, in Iowa, one thing we can't change, as it is fixed, is the humidity here. The summers in Iowa can get very uncomfortable due to its high humidity. There are pros to the humidity, but I'm not going to lie, I don't love humidity, especially since I am not the thinnest person out there. I have been working out for a few months now and run outside. I am limited to getting up early, as during the heat of the summer, I just wouldn't make it running due to how easily I sweat. The humidity is a big deal for me, as I don't enjoy going outside during the summer on certain days, as it gets that hot and humid. We went to Texas last summer, in the summer of 2023, and even though that was terrible, it wasn't as humid. We came back to Iowa, and even though the temperature wasn't as hot, it felt just as uncomfortable due to the high humidity. All in all, if you don't like hot and humid summers, then you won't like Iowa summers. Number 2, this is going to be maybe the most controversial reason on this list. I remember growing up how most people in Iowa were proud of Iowa being a swing state, and we truly were back then. Back in 2004, the Republican George Bush beat John Kerry in the presidential race by the slimmest of margins of less than a point. In 2008, Democrat Barack Obama took Iowa over John McCain by nearly 10 points. In 2012, Democrat Barack Obama again took Iowa over Mitt Romney by this time just 5 points. In 2016, Republican Donald Trump flipped Iowa back to Republican by beating Hillary Clinton by nearly 10 points. Again in 2020, Republican Donald Trump won Iowa again, but this time by just over 8 points. Iowa has historically been a swing state, but after COVID, I believe Iowa has turned even more red, and I think the next election is going to show that, but that's all speculation. And lately, our governor is a Republican, Reynolds, and she has a strong hold of the governor of Iowa. And it is expected that Donald Trump wins Iowa for a 3rd time in a row, and it is expected to be comfortably. We'll see where the results come in. If you are not in support of the Republican Party, you may not want to move to Iowa in 2024 unless you know the areas to look for. And there are some areas for you to live, though. Number 3, I recently went on a walk with a client who moved here from California, and he mentioned this is one of his main concerns he has from moving to Iowa from California. He told me he loves it here, but the ticks are a huge concern for him, as he has a new puppy and ticks like to latch on to dogs. When he takes his dog to a park, or even sometimes in the backyard, he has to check the puppy to make sure a tick never got on him. I had a tick on me as well this year, and all I did was walk in ankle-high grass. It was crawling on my leg, and I thought I got it off me, but later that night, my wife found it latched onto me in the middle of my back. It was absolutely disgusting. In Iowa, we also have house flies that are annoying and get in your home all the time. We have gnats and fruit flies that also seem to get in your home no matter what you do in the summer, and all year round really, but especially the summer. They are more of a nuisance than dangerous, but we also have mosquitoes here in Iowa, and they can be vicious. I don't know if it is my blood type or what, but if I am anywhere near mosquitoes, they will attack me and bite me. Those are the main 4 bugs. There are spiders and stuff like that too, but those are the main 4 bugs that we have here in Iowa that I am not aware of anyone liking any of those 4 that I know of. Now, if after this entire list you still want to move to Iowa, then we would love to help you, as we are the Living in Iowa team and have had the honor of helping many other people in your shoes. If you'd like to work with us, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, as we'd love to work with you as well. Number 4, one recent commenter on one of my videos, the woman mentioned that she moved to Cedar Rapids from Las Vegas and thinks it is way too boring here. From her comment, it seems that she made a huge mistake. I don't personally know her or know more than her comment, but I do have to agree. If you're into big cities with all that comes with a big city, like huge concerts, tons of single people going to bars, professional sports teams, famous people living amongst you, then Iowa isn't going to be a good place to call home, in all honesty. Also, if you need to live by the mountains, Iowa is a long ways away from any. If you need to be near the beach or on the ocean, Iowa is a long ways from the ocean. If you need to be by huge lakes with crystal clear water, Iowa is a long ways away from a huge lake. We do have Iowa Great Lakes as an option, but most states have lakes that outcompete even the Iowa Great Lakes region. Overall, if entertainment and extreme outdoor activities are a must for you to live by, then Iowa is not the place to call home. Number 5. I was talking to one of my good friends from South Carolina recently, and he has a brother out in California. I didn't know this, but I guess they have been having lots of wildfires there recently. The picture he sent to me looked like the fires were near and were very serious. So prayers out to my friends, family, and all the families affected by these fires. These fires can impact other dry regions out west like Idaho, Montana, and I'm sure I am missing many other states, but those are the main areas I know of. Other risks in other states are hurricanes, earthquakes, droughts, and other natural disasters. While in Iowa we have tornadoes, severe thunderstorms, and flooding to deal with. In northwest Iowa, they had record-breaking flooding that not many people outside of Iowa know about. And with all the shallow rivers here in Iowa, flooding is a risk. Most housing is built outside of flood areas, but when record-breaking flooding happens, like it did in northwest Iowa, the flood map grows outside of what you even think is possible. Next is tornadoes that get all the attention. It is easily the natural disaster I hear about from people entertaining Iowa the most. Like I tell them, it is possible, but not likely, that you'll be impacted as they are so localized, but if you are in their path, it can't be minimized how devastating they can be. Especially the tornado that hit Greenfield, Iowa in the spring this year. What you definitely will experience if you move to Iowa, though, is severe thunderstorms that can produce hail, sleet, straight line winds up to tornadoes. No matter what you do, you will not avoid severe thunderstorms here in Iowa. Number 6. I do remember one year when it was over 60 degrees a day in January, and it almost seemed like spring. But the inevitable happened not too long after that 60-plus degree day in January. It got cold and got extremely cold. I've seen it not even get to negative 10 degrees during the day on the coldest days of the year. I know one year is a negative as a high for over a week straight. This isn't even talking about nighttime, where it has been under negative 20 degrees multiple times that I can remember. If you can't handle extreme cold weather, then consider this your warning. I may be telling you the worst case scenario, but that is important to know about Iowa. I do have to say that winters do not seem as long anymore, and there are times in December you can't believe how mild it is, and then in March it warms up and winter is already over. Last year, winter seemed very short if you ask our family, but we did have some really cold days, but it was rather mild in our opinion. Number 7. This is becoming a huge issue in Iowa, and it needs to be addressed immediately, as it isn't a fixed part of this list like the last one of cold weather that is inevitable. My latest stream, I pulled up an article, and Iowa has one of the worst cancer rates in the entire nation, and the article did speculate on what is going on. I'm going to throw out a disclaimer out there that I do believe this article is onto something, but I can't prove it, so you discern if you think this seems to be accurate. First off, the mainstream news is trying to pin the high cancer rates in Iowa on high alcohol consumption, which I'm not arguing that the amount of alcohol people drink in Iowa is a factor, because it makes sense, and I'm sure it is a factor. But the article also talks about the chemicals and herbicides used on crops here in Iowa as a factor no one wants to pin it on. There's a lot of speculation on this being the real factor for such an alarming amount of cancer here in Iowa. Hopefully the right people see this video that have some influence on Iowa's leaders to get this issue resolved. As to me, this is a fixable issue and needs to be addressed. Hopefully this list was helpful to you. And if you want to know one of the reasons to move to Iowa, I did a video on Iowa's best kept secret. Make sure to watch that before giving up on Iowa.